Hey everybody, it's 2 Minutes on Tuesdays in overtime. You are live at WTTS Yours truly, I'm your host, Chelle, aka Kolor Beauty. Listen, we have a lot in common tonight because neither one of us knows what I'm going to talk about. It's my first night, so I want to be very honest with you. I am nervous, but I'm going to talk to you like I'm talking to you on the phone because, hey, that's what we do. It's going to be like some nice little 30 minutes. We're just going to talk about some things. But first, I want to let you know a little bit about myself, how I got here. I started doing a 2 Minute Tuesday on Facebook, on social media about I'm going into my third year actually in November. And it started off because I had a girlfriend of mine who was suffering from ALS. She actually passed away, and I didn't know how to handle that. And so I was trying to find my voice in a lot of different other areas anyway. And God had been speaking to me about my voice. And so I started doing this 2 Minute Tuesday, and it just went on for about 2 years. And I got kind of like, oh God, I don't want to do this because I don't really know if people are really getting me, if they're really getting um, my message. And so I have a story about that. This is what I love, how I ended up here today. Sometimes we can do all the work, and you've heard me probably say this on one of my 2 Minute Tuesdays. We can do all the work, but it is God that blows on your work. And sometimes we get frustrated because we think we're going to make it happen. No, you're not going to make it happen. You're going to do the work, and then God is going to make it happen. How I got to WTTS radio was really God making it happen. I walked into a bank to do my own personal banking, and I met a gentleman who was assisting me. And he asked me, he said, your voice sounds like people listen to you when you talk. And I said, well, I do a 2 Minute Tuesdays every Tuesday on Facebook. And so I guess maybe they do. So he asked me to come on his show and would I be a guest? And I was like, oh, okay. I said, what are you going to talk about? And he's like, it's Get Loose Radio. I'm like, oh God, how loose are we going to get? And so it was interesting because it was a door that was just open and I walked through it. I just saw an opportunity and I walked through it. And some people would say, well, who is she? Who does she think she is? What has she done? What does she write? What does she sing? Where's her credentials? I want to speak to the people who really don't know. They don't have any credentials. You don't really know where to start. You're afraid because you know that you're just a little pawn on the board, and so you don't really know where to start. Just start. Just start. Nobody has to know you. I was somewhere about 2 weeks ago, and I visited one of my girlfriend's church, and I was so very impressed. I was really excited because for the first time ever in my life, I heard someone mention something about no names and not having titles. We've become a people who we are so infatuated with names and the who's who. And we have a sea of people around us every day who are doing phenomenal things, who are making a difference, who are just being the best version of themselves. And we don't give them the time of day. And I don't understand that because you don't know the people that are on TV. You don't know their lifestyles. You don't know their private pleasures. You don't know anything about them. But yet we put them in such high regard. Your gift can take you a lot of places, but your character can maintain you. And so I just want to speak to that for a moment because I've had some people look at me sideways and, what did you write a book or are you an author or, what have you done? I've lived life. I've lived life in a way where I've had to do some things over and over and over again. So that qualified me to still keep getting up every day, keep getting, being the best version of me, keep getting it right. When I fall, keep getting back up. I had a dream inside of me that was sitting inside of me since I was 18 years old. I knew that it was something different about me, but I didn't have anything around me that spoke to that. That's a hard place to have something that you see when you close your eyes on the inside of you. You can close your eyes and you can see it. And then you open your eyes and you try to look for the references on the outside of you, and there's none. What do you do with that? What do you do with that? So I've said a lot in a little bit of time, but I don't have a lot of time with you. So I want to hit a couple different things because some people, they don't get their second wind till they get to the second part of their life. I work in an atmosphere by day where there are people that are always talking about retirement, retirement, retirement. And I said, God, I don't understand what that is. What is retirement? I mean, I understand that you work and then you stop working. But is that what we're really called to do is work and stop working? I mean, it's got to be another level, another something left in you when you stop working at this one place for 40 something years. And I guess I'm saying all this because getting up to this point where I'm speaking to you today has been a journey. I mean, I can't believe that I'm sitting in a radio station in a studio on the radio. That is something that I thought and dreamed about for years. Never knew how I was going to get there. Why didn't I know that? Because every path that I took appeared to be off the trail of what I saw inside of me. Why was that? It was that way because I didn't see anything around me that even spoke to what was inside of me or even could agree with me. Sometimes you want to vent to some people that don't even understand it's like you're saying you're speaking Latin and they only speak English. Well, what does that mean? What are you saying? They don't have the answer. And then you're more frustrated because they don't have the answer that you're looking for. So how do you get past that? You keep moving. I remember I launched my first workshop in 2014. Yeah, 2014. And I remember I opened up with a story that my stepfather shared with me. And my stepfather's a talker. He loves to talk. But see, I learned something about that. I learned how to just listen. I don't care if you talk me into tomorrow. If I hear my nugget, I'm going to listen. And he shared something with me, a story about a man called Henry Box Brown. And this was a man that was a slave, but he shipped himself to freedom. Now, I want you to hear this. He literally packaged himself in a box and shipped himself to freedom. And I thought about that and I said, what are we willing to do to get to the other side of what we want? Are you willing to be talked about? Are you willing to look like you crazy? Like, oh, you know what? That hit this she go again. They go to the dreamer, never seeing her dreams come to pass. And sometimes people have seen me be embarrassed, become humiliated, become disappointed. But I had something inside of me I just didn't know how to get to. Now here's a man that shipped himself to freedom. He had to become cargo in a trip that was days long in a box. Still, because if anybody had seen that, it known or even got a whiff that he was a slave in a box going somewhere where he was going to become free, that was going to be it for him. It was going to be all over. But he had enough to know inside of him that he wanted to be free, and it was going to happen by any means necessary. That means you have to stay in a locked position for days, not moving. You might have to go to the bathroom. You got to make it happen. Whatever he did, I wasn't there. I don't know. But I know this one thing, he got free. He got free. What are you willing to do to get free? I don't care how old you are. I really, we're at this place now with some people. I'm around people who say, oh, well, I'm too old now. Don't talk like that around me. You too old. I'm just getting my second win. And so for those of you who are wondering, who is she? Where she come from? You know what? I've been doing the same thing you've been doing all this time, living, trying to figure it out. We got this thing called life, and all of us are trying to figure out how to make it work. And sometimes you mess up along the way. Lord knows I've messed up enough along the way. But I'm here today. I'm here to speak life into you because I've lived so much life that I can tell you, oh, you'll make it. You will make it, and you will realize your dreams. And if you're not realizing them, keep living. Sometimes you got to shed a little bit. You got to shed some people. You love them. You got to be lovely. You got to let them go because you got to get to the next thing. I am still not where I want to be, but I'm on my way. I'm definitely on my way. You know why? Because I'm determined that in everything that I go through, in every failure that I experience, I'm building my brick to success. I really am. I'm careful to not speak a certain way around in my own self. Last week, just 2 weeks ago, I was with my mom and I went to her home and I had a situation that kind of went left. And I was very frustrated. I said, this is not working. I've done everything. It's not working. And she looked at me. She said, oh, you got to go. You can't come in here with that kind of talk. You got to go. And I sat for a minute. I was in my feelings, get ready to cry. My grown self get ready to cry. But she was right. She said, you got to go. You can't come around here like that. Because even at my age, and what she was saying was, I've seen you come through too much. You can't come right here and say, you can't make it. It's not working. You're still here to say that. So the fact that you're still here means it's working. Keep moving. I left out the house, went and found me a little quiet place in the park, and I sat in the car and I said, God, I'm sorry. my conversation is wrong. My words are off. Are your words off? Are you speaking right? Are you thinking right? Are you thinking about what you're thinking about? Because sometimes we're so busy just thinking, we're not even thinking about what we're thinking about. And so wherever you are, it's the sum total of every decision you've made. Really, it is. But that's okay because if the dream has not died, if it's still inside of you, you can get there. Listen, I'm here because of a dream, right here, talking to you live because of a dream. That's why I'm here. You know what? There was a lot of things around me that said, you know what, we're not going to support her on purpose. Oh, let me talk to you. The ones who you looking for validation. That's okay. Really, we are supposed to validate each other. It is lovely. It's righteous. It's right in God. God says, encourage one another in the Lord. It's right. But you know what? We understand that that's not always going to happen. And people don't not do it because they don't like you. Sometimes they don't do it because they can't. It amplifies too much where they would like to be or how they would like to be thinking. Wow, that's pretty good. Sometimes your dream or your conversation or your boldness amplifies someone else's lack of courage. I've had to learn to not let that be my war because what can I do about it? I've said a whole lot in a little bit of time. I want you to think about that real quick. I'm going to be back. We're going to pay some bills and we're going to come back and talk a little bit more, okay? All right, y'all. We're back, y'all. We're live at WTTS Radio. Overtime. I'm Chelle Kolor Beauty. Hope you had a time to kind of digest some of those things I just spoke about. It was a lot, but we can handle it because it's life. And if you're in this life, you know that you have to handle a lot of things at one time sometimes. And it's good when we're being called to examine some things. And so I'm challenging you to do that today because that's what we have to do to maintain and to stay in this race. And so I was just reminded in the Word of God. You know, I have friends from all over the globe, all cultures. I have friends that are Buddhist, Hindu, Muslim. I'm a Christian. My profession is Christ. I'm saved by the blood of Christ, but I got friends from all over. And so the Bible is like my roadmap. It's my blueprint, if you will. And I was just reminded in the Word of God where it says He is able to make all grace abound towards you, that you may have all sufficiency in all things, that you may abound to every good work. You know, wherever you are in your life, I challenge you to ask yourself, what do you really want? And not be afraid to know what that answer is, and not be afraid to start making some moves toward that. I don't care who says what, who feels about it, what they feel about that. Sometimes you may be feeling a certain way, like I need to break out of this, but I don't know how to. And what are they going to think? Who cares? They're going to think something anyway. If you don't break out, they're going to think something. But know this: if it's in you, that means that God has given you the grace for it. And if He's giving you the grace for it, He will make it easy for you. I had to learn that when I started being true to what I really wanted, that the doors, I didn't have to proud them open anymore. I've had to learn how to discern when a door is closed. It's closed. It's closed. I'm not taking it off the hinges. I'm not beating it down. I'm not doing that. I done beat enough doors down that when I beat them down, I didn't like what was on the other side of that door anyway. That's the truth. A lot of doors I beat down. When I got that door down, I was like, oh, I didn't really want this. Oh, well, this is what you have now. So come on over here. You got to ride the wave. So I'm just saying, just be truthful with yourself. Be honest with yourself, and stop making Facebook and social media your point of reference, because you're only going to get snapshots of life. They're snapshots, and when that snapshot is over, you know what happens? They go back. When that snapshot is over, they go right back to life. Some people may be going back to sit in the corner with a straight jacket on, but you don't see that part. You don't see, they may be going in a dark room. We don't see that part. So stop looking for these things to try to help you redefine or refocus. Get it inside of you. It's inside of you. I hear, like the Word of God says, the kingdom of heaven is within you. There's so many God has so many things inside of us, and what happens, we get tunnel vision, and we only see it, especially if you were brought up in church, and so you only see one side of God, you only know one part of it. It's so much of God to experience inside of us. That's why He made us, so that He could experience Himself in us. You know what I'm saying? It's like God wants to have a seat. Like I'm talking to you right now, He wants to have a seat where a place inside of you where He can sit down and be at home and make Himself comfortable. But a lot of times we're all over the place, and that's okay too, because God can locate you all over the place. Sometimes you have to go all over the place to get in place. Sometimes you do, and that's okay, because all that's a part of it. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier today, and we were talking about, how everything was intentional, it was purposeful, it had to happen, it was necessary. Uh, in the word of God, Joseph was sold by his brothers. He was sold twice. He was in prison. He was lied on, and it was necessary. But it appeared as if it was like it was just failure after failure after failure, like turmoil after turmoil. But it was necessary, because when he got to that palace, could nobody get him out? Nobody. He was prime minister, y'all. Could nobody get him out? As a matter of fact, God had laid so much accountability and so much power and so much at his feet, at his fingertips, that he was almost untouchable. You had to say, "Oh, that was God. Oh, that had to have been the way it played out. God did it that way." And so whatever it is that you're trying to get to it. Look, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm on my way. I am on my way, not fighting the wrong wars. I'm not over here and over here looking to see what's going on over here and over here. I'm on my path. And so sometimes things come on your path, they make you forget what you want. Oh my gosh. We can talk all day about that, forgetting what you want because you've let the wrong thing on your path. But that's okay. Make it work. How you go down a road and there's a detour, that's okay. But the detour does get you back. If you follow the detour, it will get you back on path. Sometimes we take a detour and we want to get off, and then we get lost even further in the wilderness. I had a old mentor years ago say to me, if you walk 42 miles in the desert, you gotta walk 42 miles out when you come out. Yeah, you do. It's a couple of different things with that though. Sometimes God will give you a shortcut. Sometimes He'll give you a shortcut. And then sometimes you have to take the long way out, because the things that you saw going in, you didn't really understand them, but coming out, you got a better understanding. And so you respond differently. You respond differently. I'm saying all this because to sit here and talk to you today is like, it's mind blowing to me. Like, who knew that all of my life, and for the last 10 years of my life, that God was trying to change my mind about what I was thinking about my life, because I knew that I had one thing inside of me, but I was trying to do it normal. I was trying to do it normal. I was trying to do it where everybody would agree. How dare you do your life in a way that everybody will agree with you? That's not right. That's not fair to you. That's not fair to God. God didn't ask you where to put the moon, the stars, and sun. He didn't consult you about that. It's not fair for us to try to look for people or do things in a way that people will agree. I mean, you're leaving the best part of the equation out, and that's you. That's you. Because at the end of the day, you know what I realized? People are going to do them. And when you get down the road, they're going to be like, what you been doing? Girl, I was so and so. Or, I just went on and just worked my job. And I just went on and, I didn't really do a whole lot. I didn't really get everything I wanted. And you say, well, what you been doing? Girl, I was doing me. I did me. Let me tell you what I did. And they had this big, huge story. And you sitting feeling some kind of way because you didn't have the courage to do what was really in your heart to do. Do what's in your heart to do. Look, do what you have to do. And in the meantime, on the side, do what's in your heart to do. God will give you the grace. He'll show you how to work both of them. He'll show you how to make it all come into one stream, one road. I hope you figure that out. But on a lighter note, I hope it was all light to you. Again, I didn't really know what I was going to talk about today. I just wanted to start somewhere, because in my journey, I've learned that if I just start, I can get there. I mean, when you start off, you're like, oh my God, I'm never going to get there. And then I just wouldn't quit. I just would not quit. My sister called me yesterday and she said to me, what I love about you is that you just won't quit. And I mean, the wind was hitting me hard, but it's something in me that keeps getting up to the point where I said, God, if it's never going to happen, just take me to glory. I'm good. I'm good. I done seen enough of this. And one day God spoke to me. He said, you're not getting out of it that easy. I said, what do you mean, God? He said, oh, you're going to do what you came to do. So you just, get yourself together, pull up your bootstraps. Let's go. Let's go. And so whatever it is, whatever's on your heart, whatever's been sitting there for a little while, And don't worry about the pace everybody else is going. Because I was telling somebody else, I said, listen, I'm not racing anybody. I'm on my own path. I'm not looking at my age. I'm not looking at what was behind me. I'm not even looking at what's beside me so much. I'm just looking at what's in front of me. And I'm taking one step at a time, literally one step. I take one step at a time. And if you got to do a couple of things, I saw a post on Facebook one time and I loved it. A young lady that I really like a lot. She said, why do you care if I got a lot on my plate if I came to eat? Sometimes people will look at your life and say, she got too much going on. Well, I'm sorry. What makes you say that? You're not living my life. Maybe I have the grace to do this that you don't. And so all these things are things that come at us when we're trying to move forward and we're trying to make some things happen for our life, but we're trying to at least get in position because, as I said before, God makes it happen. He does. But he wants to see the effort. You know the word. You know what it says. If you got faith but you're not moving, well, your faith is dead. You got to get that faith walking. It's got to do something to the point where it speaks for you, so that when it's time to go to the next thing, and people will say, people will say, well, where'd she come from? Or how did he do that? Well, they were just taking one step at a time. They just were moving. And God just decided, I'm just going to honor the faith. Sometimes God will put you where you're not qualified because he just want to honor the faith in you. Just the fact that you just got movement. I mean, really, sometimes people think that you were supposed to go the same direction that they went, so that it can qualify you, so that in their minds they can qualify you, qualify or justify the fact that you're blessed, or the fact that you accomplished the thing that it took them years to accomplish. Well, sometimes God just want to put you in the blessing, just want to put you in it to prove that he's God, that he can do a lot of different things because he's God. Because if he only did it one way all the time, then what would be your testimony? I mean, really, God is desires to get glory in every area of life. I don't care where you find yourself. You don't have to do it, be the cookie cutter and do it the way someone else does it. Just do something. Do it. Just do something. And whatever you do, make it look, if you fail, say, well, guess what? I went down on my own name, but I did something. I jumped. You will never say I sat on the side and failed. You will never say that I sat on the sideline and failed. If I failed doing it. I didn't fail not doing it. And so I'm freestyling with y'all right now because this is how I feel right now. I'm just overwhelmed because there are a lot of things going on inside of me right now about just how much it takes to get. I have a greater appreciation now for people who are really doing their dream, because it takes so much, and we only see the end result. Well, you might be on my journey with me, and if you don't mind, then I don't mind. I'm okay with that. I like it when I have a cloud of witness, so that gives it makes it real for some people. It makes them know that it's touchable, it's obtainable. Because a lot of times we may see someone else doing what we're doing, and we may think it's too vast, it's too big, and we don't even know they did just what they just started with an idea. They just said, "Well, I got $10. What can I get for $10?" I don't know. You may have to spend $10 and just go hear somebody talk to you for 2 minutes. Do what you have to do. Just start moving. And so, I always say, at the end of every 2 Minute Tuesday, I always say, y'all, let's color beauty, stay blessed. I say stay blessed for a reason, because there are so many things in this life that we will encounter that will make us feel offish, off your game. Like, I can't recover. I know this. You are blessed. You are blessed, period. You're blessed. If God made you, there's no such thing as you're not blessed. You may not be in your one spot. You may not be in that home spot with yourself that you want to be in, that optimum place that you desire to be in. You might not be there, but you're still blessed. And so the staying blessed part, that's a state of mind. I understand that I'm a winner. Even when I fail, I'm a winner. Even when I fail, I'm a winner because I failed doing it. That means I'm a winner. I didn't sit on the side. I didn't talk about who was doing it, and I wasn't. I just said, well, God bless him. May the heavens smile upon you, but I'm going to do my thing. And that's what I do. Literally, that's what I do. And so I don't know. I don't know who this is reaching. I don't know if it helped you or not tonight. But we're going to keep building upon it. I got some good stuff I want to share with you all. I really do. 2 Minute Tuesday is always out there every Tuesday. Today we didn't do a 2 Minute Tuesday on my page because I wanted to spend some time with you. I just wanted to freestyle and spend some time with you. But I just want to say, you're going to see me. I'm not going anywhere. So for those of you who say, where'd she come from? I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going. I'm going to the next thing, and I'm going to keep going until we come to do two things. And so, I've decided this a long time ago. When I watched my girlfriend die from ALS, I knew then it was only two things that were absolute in this life, and that's you come to live and leave. You come to live and leave, and everything you do in the middle, in between that, it's up to you. You have to decide what is going to be my middle so I can end this thing right and leave my name in the earth, smelling great, sounding great, where people will never forget she did something that changed how I think and how I pursue what it is I want to do. And that's what I want to do. I want to make sure that I infiltrate and I'm coming to your life in a way where something, if it's a small part of my life, that can make you say, I can do this next thing. Good. Because we're in this life together. I'm out of time, y'all. It's Chelle, Overtime with WTTS Radio. Until we see each other again next week, it's Kolor Beauty. Y'all stay blessed.